First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rakar Kwadash, and double honor to the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to the Yakim out there, the men of Yahweh Shai, the potential elect, those that are furthering this ministry in diligence and out of the sincerity of their hearts, most importantly, and as well as those that are grown thereby and learning of Yahweh Shai. It's the brother Ma'ad Kakam coming at you with another video, and I just want to respond to this news here, which is, as this lady would say, quite disturbing, but not so disturbing to us because, this is a reality that we're aware of, that you have spirits floating around from place to place that we don't see. Sometimes they could be angels and sometimes they could be demons, and in half cases possess people. This is a reality in our world, which, we're in a world of reality. And we understand that there's different realms here. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to play this video so you brothers and if you sisters can check this out.
Breaking news at 5 o'clock, and we have to warn you, there are several disturbing new details on the murder of a St. Johns County teenager, and they may be difficult to hear. 14-year-old Edom Fucci is now being charged as an adult with first-degree murder in the death of 13-year-old cheerleader Tristan Bailey. Moments ago at a press conference, State Attorney R.J. Larissa said that Bailey was stabbed 114 times and tried to defend herself. Larissa says that the suspected murder weapon and some other DNA evidence have been located in Fucci's home. He said Fucci had made prior statements to friends that he planned to kill someone by taking them into the woods and stabbing them. And he had this message to all parents.
You need to know what your kids are doing and what they're saying. Because while we might not be able to stop these brutal and vicious murders from happening, we ought to at least try.
And I just want to respond to what he just said right there in saying that we may not be able to stop all of these brutal murders. And this is just my take. This is just my, opinion. I'm not saying that this is true, but you do have a lot of men that are in high positions in this society, as we know, that are a part of the secret brotherhood. And as we should know, the secret brotherhood get about in the world of sorcery and conjure up spirits and demons and these kind of sorts of things. And then you have people that are not even in the brotherhood are doing these things. Like, for example, you got people doing card reading and things of that nature. And that explains why people are probably going mad and doing things that are involving in demons. As I've said, the reality that we live in, we know that there's spirits and there's demons, but you have more demons being conjured up because you have evil, wicked men in the positions of power that are doing these things. And even when you watch, certain things or certain channels, hence they call it channels because they want to channel you to this program that you're watching on your television. Especially these music videos and stuff like that. Especially nowadays, it's all involved in conjuring spells or casting spells on you. And one of the reasons as to why people are going crazy and bugging out. That's all I really want to say. So we're going to continue to play some more of this video to the end.
Fucci is being held in Volusia County, and he will now face adult penalties if convicted in this case.
And what also escaped my mind was originally I found this young lad as to what he did on World Star Hip Hop, and I'll post that video, the link in the description box, and you can check that out. And just to substantiate what I'm talking about concerning, the demons and all of that stuff and the spirits, the young boy himself was speaking to himself and saying that how did he get there and how, in his own words, spirits messing with him. In other words, evil spirits, demons was messing with him. So you'll be able to see the young boy talk about that as you watch that video. So anyway, The scripture that I want to read now is Deuteronomy 18, verse 9. So it says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. And what were they doing? There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination to the Lord Yahweh, and because of these abominations the Lord thy power doeth drive them out from before thee. Okay? And that's why people in America right now are bugging out and doing these heinous crimes, because you have what? People conjuring up spirits in secret places, man. That's one of the reasons, as the many, you know. But I would say the ultimate reason, because you have spells that are being casted upon people every day, man. You know, and you know, as America likes to declare itself a Christian-based country, but you know, in all reality, the way that America was founded was not Christian-like. All right. So that's just that. But that's another video for that anyway. But the point that I want to get back into is it's allowed in the West to be, you know, a card reader, a tarot card reader, and to you know, get into the dark side, man. Tapping into that left hand side of yourself and conjuring up all of these spirits, and in the middle of that you go crazy. At the end of it, apparitions come in your house, move things around. So you're allowed to do all of this stuff in the West, but you know, in the kingdom of heaven, this is not going to be going on. We're gonna put the laws of the Most High into action, and this will not be going on the face of the earth. Nowhere on the earth is this going to be going on, because we're going to rule the earth. But because Esau rules the earth, you have all kinds of people doing all kinds of things, man. As the scripture says, that the Lord hath made man upright, but men have sought up many inventions that are contrary to righteousness, basically. And this is why you have people acting as how you see them acting out here. You know, people doing the crazy things that you see them doing, even if it doesn't involve someone getting murdered or stabbed or shot. Okay? And I want to read Isaiah 47 verse 8, beginning with beginning with 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, and neither didst remember thy latter end of it. And therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else besides me. So this is talking about America and how they feel about themselves, basically. And I shall not sit as a widow, and neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, and they shall come upon thee in their perfection. For the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Like I was saying, in the West, and more in particular Babylon the Great, which is what we call it, which it is America, you're allowed to do all of this stuff. You're allowed to give false predictions. You're allowed to read cards, and you're allowed to basically gather a group of people together to conjure up spirits, man. And the people that are in these organizations, they conjure up the most powerful as demons. And this is all allowed. This is done. You could do this. I mean, you can go on Amazon right now and buy you some tarot cards and buy you some sorcery witchcraft equipment and tap into that left hand side of things. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people are doing. And people are doing that now more so than ever before, because for many reasons, of course, you have people that have prospered and they want to get back to prospering again. So they figure, well, if they get involved in enchanting demons to help them do that, then that's what they're going to exact, you know. Like, you got people that were once upon a time doing very well successfully, and they want to get back to that lifestyle. So they figure, well, if I get involved into this kind of thing, sorcery, or enchanting demons, casting spells for good luck, then that's what people are gonna. That's what these same individuals are gonna do, because they're really looking for prosperity. And even those that haven't prospered at all in life, they want to tap into the dark side so that they can prosper. So they do these kind of things, you know. So anyway, let's continue on. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, and thou hast said, none see of me thy wisdom and thy knowledge that have perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. And therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let not the astrologers and the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators, stand up and save thee from all of these things that shall come upon thee. So what I want to do is because I've read over it, so I want to go back up and read verse 12 again and elaborate more on verse 12. So let's read this again. Stand now of thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. And it looks like Esau's prevailing with this sorcery that they're doing, but they're not prospering. All they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot. And it's just eventually not going to work out for them, because all of these spirits are in league with the ultimate spirit, which is the Most High. As it reads in the New Testament, that even the devils tremble in fear. So if the spirits on the left hand side fear the Lord, then what are you doing? You might as well just worship the Most High and pray and do it the natural way, rather than worshiping Satan, which Satan has little to no power. And it looks like he has all the power in the world, because he gives you what you want instantly, more than how the Most High will give it to you. Because if the Lord is going to give you something, you gotta put it in that work, and it takes patience. But with Satan or these different spirits, they'll give you what you want instantly, and you feel satisfied with what you got. But there's only so much that the left hand can do. All right? Because eventually, when you tap into that left hand side nonsense, what happens is eventually you wind up in a very, very troubled situation, man, when it's all said and done. As the scripture says in the book of Galatians, as it says in the book of Galatians 6 and 7, whatever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So if you're doing all of this evil and wickedness that the Lord told you not to do, eventually it's going to lead to your death and your destruction. And that's why America will be destroyed. One of the reasons why America will be destroyed, as I've just showed you. All right. Which all of this is talking about America, Babylon the Great. So now what I want to do, because there was instance even in the ancient world 2,000 years ago, during the time of Yahushua and the disciples, they came around certain people that was sick. And the reason why they were sick, because in some cases they had the demons on them. So even this young woman that had a, well, I don't know if she was young, but it just says she was a woman, a Seraphonician by nation, right? So it says, might as well just read it. It says, and from thence he rose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into an house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. For a certain woman who's young, I should have just read that instead, whose young daughter had an unclean spirit, heard of him and came and fell at his feet. This is the book of Mark 7 and verse 26. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sit down in proving that this woman was not an Edomite woman, but rather a Hebrew Israelite woman. You know, as it says that she was a Syrophoenician, which the word Syro, means Syrian. And Phoenician means, which really the word Phoenician goes back to the word Canaan. Okay. But like I said, I'm going to do a sit down on this and proving that this woman was an actual Hebrew rather than, you know, what certain men say that this woman was. Anyway, so it says, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Yahushua said unto her, let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. And she answered and said unto him, yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And he said unto her, for this saying, go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter. And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out, and her daughter laid upon the bed. So this woman had faith that the Lord would cast out this evil spirit out of her daughter, and it was done. Okay. And you got to think about it. Like when Yahushua was teaching, he was teaching, most of his teachings was in Jerusalem. So most of the people that he was teaching, they were all Israelites, man. Now you had certain people that would travel outside of Jerusalem, and as well as people that were from Israel, or that weren't from Israel, that actually traveled to Israel. And this woman here, she was a Greek. In other words, she was a citizen of Greece, but she found Yahushua somewhere in Jerusalem somewhere. I think it tells you exactly where they were at. Now it doesn't tell you. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. Yeah, I've pretty much said everything that I had to say and got the scriptures that I needed to get. So anyway, with that, I want to give all of the praise to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Revakah Quadash. And with that, I'm closing over and out. Shalom.